Hello, this is Mary Collins, and I have the pleasure of helping the Jacqueline Academy create a silly, fun Halloween special. So I came up with a story. Um, we have a couple of our hypno group people being involved. They've volunteered from cohort 10, some of my hypno buddies, and Anthony himself. So, with that, I'm going to present this to you and wishing you all a very happy Hallow weekend.
Margarita was an experienced therapist. She'd been working in the business for a substantial number of years and figured she'd just about seen everything. Most people came to her for anxiety issues, pain, and others for focus, direction, and confidence. Occasionally, she'd get the more unusual requests, where a business person who had no time for a real vacation wanted to spend that one precious hour or less and be taken away to some exotic island on an imaginary 2-week holiday. There were always requests for the stop smoking cessation, but that wasn't her thing. She didn't want to take away anything from someone, just wanted them to find themselves and feel good. Besides, with a name like Margarita, who was she to take away anyone's guilty pleasures? A new client requested to come in that morning, and this one was a new one for her books, so she was excited about it.
Hi.
Hello, I'd like to speak to Mr. Thrope, please.
Yes, this is he.
Great.
How can I help?
I'm calling you about the hypnotherapy session you contacted me for on my website.
Great. Thanks for calling.
I'm Margarita, and I work for Lunar Hypnotherapy. So, Mr. Thorpe, how may I help you?
You can start by taking it down a notch and calling me by my given name, Lycan. Or we can get personal, and you can call me by what my family call me, Howler, because I sure am a laugh.
Lycan. Okay. What can I help you with?
Well, it's kind of a peculiar one. I have a phobia.
That's fine. I help people overcome phobias all the time. What is it?
I'm afraid I'm going to kill someone.
Well, have you seen a doctor about this? I think it might be out of my scope
Hold on, before you dismiss
of
me.
practice.
I'm a really nice guy. It's not something I would do just any day. It's only when I become a werewolf. What I mean is when I think I become a werewolf.
So you're telling me you've not killed anyone, but you are afraid of killing someone if you turn into a wolf.
Werewolf, yes. So I don't go out on full moons. Harvest moons, blue moons, and especially not full moons. You can see what a dampener it is on my social life.
Yes, I can see how this would be a problem. What are you doing to ease the problem on those nights, Lycan?
Well, I lock myself in the basement, like Mama used to.
Your mother used to lock you in the basement? Wow, it sounds like you've experienced some serious trauma. Have you seen a psychiatrist? I mean, maybe this is a better option for you.
Now, please don't do that. Don't throw me off as someone else's problem. I came to you for help. I need your help. I have this lady. I want to get more serious with her. Maybe move in together. And she's asking questions that I'd rather not answer. So could you please help me?
Margarita has to give this some serious thought. She's not a trained psychiatrist or doctor. This man might be better off seeing a specialist.
Are you on any medication, Mr. Thrope?
Lycan. Call me Lycan.
Are you on any medication, Lycan?
Well, let's see. I am on sleeping tablets and some painkillers, but really only need them once a month or so, when the moon's full. But otherwise, I'm the epitome of good health. I have quite the physique, if I do say so myself.
Are you on any medication, Lycan, for hallucinations,
Nope,
being diagnosed
one.
with conditions like bipolarism, schizophrenia, things like that?
I hold down a good job. I rarely miss a day of work. And I have a pretty decent social circle. My parents are dead, and I'm all that's left of the family line. So, just hanging in there, getting by day by day and night by, well.
Okay, Lycan, when can you come in? I just checked my schedule. I have some free spaces in about 2 weeks, and I can book you in for
A couple of weeks? No, I really need to see you sooner. I've got a date, an anniversary coming up with my lady, and she insists on the 30th of October. We're going to get all dressed up. Little Red Riding Hood and the big bad wolf. Her idea. Ironic, isn't it? I can't let her down. Can you please fit me in somewhere?
Okay, I can see if I can get you in on October the 1st around, after my normal work hours, around 5:30, 5:45. Is that okay?
You're a bit of a daredevil, aren't you? That's a new moon.
I'm confused. I thought you said the full moon wasn't until the end of October. Isn't there only one full moon a month?
Yes, that's true normally, but every now and again you can end up with two. So October the 1st is a new moon and the 30th is a black moon.
You sure do know your astronomy and lunar cycles, but I'm not afraid of the big bad wolf. So I will see you then as early in the evening as possible. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Let's do this. I've been hiding for far too long. Thank you so much, Margarita. I'll see you soon.
That's fine.
They say goodbye and disconnect. Mr. Lycan Thrope, showing excitement and joy, and Margarita, who hates being called Marguerite, looks concerned and unsure. She goes back online and calls her friend ChristiAna, another therapist, for advice.
Hey, girl, what are you up to?
Hello, Margarita. How funny, I was just thinking about you, or at least your namesake. Remember, we're in different time zones, and in Greece it's always cocktail hour.
Hey, I'm not judging, my friend. I just wish I was with you in the sunshine, enjoying a cocktail of my choice, preferably a tequila sunrise. But alas, I am here at work, and I really require some of your good counsel right now.
Okay, ask away. I'll give you my best advice, which won't be affected by the alcohol in this drink. Promise.
You might need more alcohol once you hear what I have to tell you. So, I have a new client, and are you ready for this? He thinks he's a werewolf.
ChristiAna chokes on her drink and starts laughing. Then, seeing the seriousness on her friend's face, stops and looks surprised.
Wait, you're serious? I thought you were kidding on, and you were just winding me up because next week's the start of October.
Yeah, I do love Halloween, but this time, no, I'm not joking. I'm serious. He seems to have serious problems with his family, or he did. His mom and his dad and the rest of his family. There's no one left except him. But apparently, his mom used to lock him, maybe both of them, he didn't really say, into the basement whenever it was a full moon. As a matter of fact, now he is at a stage where he locks himself up even if it's close to a full moon. Apparently, like harvest moon, new moon, the works. So, and you know what's really weird about this? His first name is, let me tell you his last name. His last name is Thrope, and I suspect that the parents had some sort of warped sense of humor. because guess what his first name is?
No, don't tell me. Lycan?
Margarita nods dramatically, and ChristiAna looks back in disbelief, then turns to wave to the waiter and yells an order for 2 more margaritas in Greek. She looks back at Margarita and says,
I think I'm going to need stronger cocktails for this. You know the story of the werewolves, right? I mean, of course, there are many versions, including the European, but here in Greece, wow, let me tell you more about it. The legend of Lycan. According to the legend, Lycan, son of Pelasgus, angered the god Zeus when he served him a meal made from the remains of a sacrificed boy. And as punishment, the enraged Zeus turned Lycan and his sons into werewolves, the werewolves of Arcadia. There's the Scottish legend of the Wolver, supposedly half man, half wolf, but deadly.
ChristiAna sat back in her chair and shook her head.
No, I wouldn't take this on if I were you. Definitely not. Does he know where you live?
Well, it's a bit late. I have booked him in, but no, not at home. I wouldn't even give Santa Claus my address. But yeah, he's due to see me first thing next week, but at the office.
ChristiAna sits forward, nearly knocking her drink over, and looks beseechingly into the computer camera.
No, don't meet him in the flesh. Is there no way you can do this online?
Well, I guess I could take him online, but you know how I feel about regression, especially online. Yeah, it's kind of dangerous. But yeah, I mean, I am fully booked during the day, and I am kind of doing him a favor, so...
Especially after hours. There's no way I would have a werewolf, or a man who thinks he's a werewolf, anywhere near my office, or anywhere near my vicinity, especially on a new moon.
So you also know it's a full moon? Okay, well, I guess your culture does take this seriously. How are you going to handle coming to one of my Halloween parties and being surrounded by a bunch of monsters, huh?
I can handle monster costumes, as distasteful as that tradition is, but you'll be lucky that this guy isn't the real thing. So good luck, I've got to go. I have to drive and this last margarita is starting to take effect.
You wouldn't dare.
No, I'm kidding. I'm taking a taxi, but still, nobody likes a sloppy drunk.
They say their goodbyes and hang up. Margarita calls back her client and tells him they will meet online. The scene ends. The new scene taking place is the following week, after hours, on the new moon.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Thrope. Lycan, I'm really sorry that we didn't get to meet in person on the last session.
Yes, probably better this way, in case I turn.
Yeah, I mean, so are you ready to get started?
Margarita can see what appears to be an enclosure with bars in front of Mr. Thrope. He appears to be in a jail cell.
That's an unusual environment. Where are you calling me from?
I'm calling from the basement.
The basement. Okay. But you know that the sun doesn't go down for a couple more hours, right? So I think you'll be okay.
I hope so.
Okay, well, let's proceed. Ready?
Lycan makes himself comfortable, and Margarita tells him to breathe deeply and easily, focusing on her voice. Lycan begins to relax, then looks up and interrupts her.
Can I say a little thing to calm me down before we start?
Sure. Go ahead.
My mother used to say it every night of a full moon, till I knew it by heart. Terror struck, he took to flight, and on the silent plain is howling in his vain attempts to speak. He raves, he rages, his greedy jaws, desiring their accustomed slaughter, turn against the sheep. Still eager for their blood, his vesture separates in shaggy hair. His arms are changed to legs, and as a wolf, he has the same grey locks, the same hard face, the same bright eyes, the same ferocious look.
Okay then, let's begin. Now relax, breathe deeply.
Begins to talk calmly, sweetly, her hypnotic voice reverberating off the basement walls. We go now to the end of the session where Mr. Lycan-Thrope is awake.
9, 10, awake. How do you feel, Lycan?
I feel amazing. I feel amazing. How long have I been there? And hungry. But like hungry for a salad. Thanks a lot, Margarita. I think you're right. This fear I had is based on my mother's fears and rituals and has nothing to do with reality. I get that now. And I'm ready to take on the world.
That's wonderful. So, what are your plans besides eating a salad for the rest of the evening?
Well, I think I'm going to go out. I'm going to go out for a salad. Yes. Why not? Thanks again. And do you still think we'll need another session? Because I really want to have one.
It is always advised that you have at least one follow-up session, so we will go ahead and keep that first booking for October the 30th.
Yep, absolutely.
Just make notes.
Thanks a lot.
What time is your date night? We could possibly meet up, have an office session, and then you could just head on to enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah.
Does that sound okay
absolutely.
by you?
And I will be referring people to you. I have a friend that drinks like a fish.
Thinks he's a fish? Just kidding. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.
They hang up. Lycan scratches his face intently, then rolls his shoulders back and has a big, toothy yawn. The scene ends. New scene where ChristiAna FaceTimes with Margarita. It's been 3 weeks since Margarita has spoken to Lycan.
Hey, how are you?
Did you hear about the body that was found a few days ago? It's been all over the
Where?
news.
No, you know I don't watch the news. The people reporting on it are the worst kind of hypnotists.
You know I like to build up my adrenal glands with world issues and fear factors, don't you? And I happened to come across your neck of the woods.
This is a city, ChristiAna. There's nothing really sensational or new about dead bodies, and thanks to you for putting me off the only exercise I get in those woods. I love those woods.
Listen, it wasn't just a dead body. It was a half-eaten body of a woman. The entire upper half was missing, so they couldn't even identify her. That's why it made such big headlines. And you know what I'm thinking?
Don't go there. He's fine. He called me a few days after our session and told me he had a relaxed night, went for a salad, and slept like a baby when he got home.
What details did they give you about that night? Other than they went out for a salad and had an amazing sleep?
ChristiAna looks on in disbelief. She taps her nails in annoyance on the tabletop.
The cops are saying that they are dating the time of death around the time that you had that session with that werewolf.
Oh, come on. Anything could have happened. Anything could have had a munch at that body, especially if it had been sitting there for that amount of time.
Yeah, sure, like ravenous squirrels. Look, all I'm saying is you need to report this guy to the police and not have any more sessions with him.
You are being overdramatic. And I can't just abandon him. He's my client. I'll be careful, I promise.
I don't like this. You're messing with a legend and in the most powerful month of the year. Don't say I didn't tell you so. That's if I get a chance to tell you.
Okay, darling, but that's what it is, really. A fairy tale. Remind me again why you didn't take up theater? Because you are far too melodramatic. Thanks for the advice. I will be careful. And do me a favor? Light a candle on All Saints' Day and pray for my wicked soul.
Okay, you crazy girl. I will light a candle and put out a shot of tequila for you, just in case your session doesn't go well.
Thanks, that's perfect. And I won't let your words creep me out. I accept the challenge.
They say their goodbyes, and Margarita looks at her calendar, highlighting the appointment with Mr. Lycan. She pushes back the uneasy feeling of the date and the symbolism of it in nearly every culture. She overlooks even the science behind the lure and pull of what a full moon means to the sea, to animals, and even to the mental patients, appropriately named loonies, that have been known to become extra hysterical on the rising of a full moon. And this one, an extra special moon? The black moon? What foreboding instinct screamed at her, she puts to the back of her mind. Margarita sits in her office, waiting for the arrival of her last client for the day, Mr.Thrope. She looks out the window and relaxes as she watches the reddish-brown leaves fall to the ground and the skyline grow dark as the sun sets in motion for the downward path to its watery gray below the surface of the sea. She looks forward to finishing up with this last appointment, as then she can get ready for the festival night ahead. Tonight's the night she's been waiting for all year, and once she's back home, she'll retreat into the world of fantasy, meeting with her friends all dressed up in disguises, drinking and feasting on the spoils of harvest. Halloween had been a tradition for so long in her family that it was celebrated with more majestic appreciation than any other holiday in the year. Coming from Irish roots, the harvest in the Samhain meant more than a party with costumes and friends. Hallows Eve was the celebration of those that had been and gone, and returned for one day and night to spend time with the living before returning to their slumber or alternative abodes. The costumes were fun, but the lanterns, carved pumpkins, and masks were an important part of the celebration. The lanterns lead the lost back to their families. The pumpkins and drinks gave them nourishing offerings and memories, and the masks, when the time was right, sent them back home. As cruel as it seemed to turn a reunion into a confusion, the masks did their jobs most of the time. When the time was right, the party of the living would cover their faces and hide behind the masks. Upon covering the spirits of old, unable to find the familiar faces of loved ones who hid behind their masks, returned back from whence they came, only to be summoned again a year later, when the veil was at its most thin, Halloween.
Hi. Yeah. Can you just go ahead and take a seat there? Thanks. So, how are you doing?
Mr.Thrope makes himself comfortable in the chair.
Well, I used to be a werewolf, but I'm all right now. I've been waiting all day to lay that one on you. I'm good, thanks. As I said on the phone, I'm really good. I had a great evening. I went out for that salad, which seemed to fill me up so much more than you might imagine. I can barely remember making my way home, falling into bed before having the best night's sleep ever. Thank you. And I'm all set for my date tonight. Everything is set. Candlelit dinner. I've bought 2 of the biggest, juiciest steaks you've ever seen. I hope she likes them rare. I know I do. And red wine to go with that little Red Riding Hood outfit. We'll enjoy dinner, go out in costume, and party until it's Halloween day. And party some more when we get back to hers, if you know what I mean.
Mr.Thrope winks, and Margarita chooses to ignore his crudity, considering He's over the moon with happiness, no pun intended.
That sounds great. I'm sure you'll have a wild time. Anyway, has everything been normal over the last few weeks? You know, have you been watching any news or anything that might be upsetting?
No, I don't watch the news. I have enough, or at least I had enough to worry about. My own fears of turning into a monster and ripping someone's throat out. So I try not to watch any scary movies or the news, which is all about real monsters, really. Thanks, but no thanks. From now on, it's me, my girl, my hilarious jokes, and my singing skills. I intend to belt out some Sinatra on our date. Some Fly Me to the Moon and Jack the Knife. It is Hallows Eve, after all. I'm ready to go.
Okay, Lycan, let's take it down a level. Let's begin our session, shall we? Now. Okay, that's right. Relax. Take a deep breath. That's right.
The session goes smoothly. Margarita addresses the parts of Mr. Thrope that controlled his fears and gets him to release them, to accept confidence in who he is, and to feel in control. The session ends.
8, prepared. 9, 10, awake. How are you feeling?
Thank you again. I appreciate you giving me the freedom to live my life free of the fear or worry. It will no longer override my needs and desires. Thank you. Thank you. And happy Hallow weekend to you.
Okay, Lycan, you can now take your time getting up, and when you're ready, just please go through the office door. You can let yourself out. And if you need me again, you know where to find me. Now, I wish you the very best. Enjoy your evening, and happy Hallow weekend.
Marge gets up and goes through to the part of her office where she keeps her work desk and laptop. She closes the door behind her and goes to put notes in the computer files, making a video recording as well, to go with the recording of the session.
Client number 966L Thrope. Date October 30th. Start time 5:45. Conversational therapy 25 minutes. Deepening and hypnosis approximately 50 minutes. Client resting in the therapy room, and he will let himself out. Previous therapy appeared to be successful, other than a bout of hunger and heavy sleeping. A good sign, as he previously needed sleeping tablets. All appears to be an improvement. Now believes phobia was a creation from childhood, conditioning and not real. Intending on converting the basement into a personal gym. Or possibly a studio rental for some extra income. We'll turn the area with bars and gate into an industrial-style kitchen area, and now has the confidence to have his girlfriend over and have her for dinner. Feels confident, finally himself, intends on heading out. Hello?
There's a crash, like the sound of something being knocked over in her therapy room. She pictures the ugly vase she was gifted by a client and is relieved at first. Then a low growl follows and more rustling, as if something with very long, sharp claws is trying to open the door. Not the exit door. She listens nervously, waiting for Mr. Lycanthrope to burst out in laughter and let her know he was playing a joke on her. But instead, she is gripped with
Lycan?
terror Because
Mr.
right before the door gives in,
Mr.
from the
Thrope?
weight
Lycan?
and sheer force of the huge animal on the other side,
Are you okay?
she hears it. A long, piercing,
Okay?
blood-curdling howl. ChristiAna sits at her computer. You can see the concerned look upon her face. She looks like she hasn't slept for days, and behind her is a lit candle in the window. She rings through on the computer to reach her friend Margarita, whom she hasn't heard from over the holiday. This isn't normal. Margarita would have sent her 1,000,000 photos by now of the shenanigans she got up to over Halloween. Besides, her social media is dead too. Even if she hadn't got round to sending her pics, surely there would be at least one picture with Margarita tagged in. That's who she was. ChristiAna shakes off the bad feelings and thoughts. She waits and pulls a shot glass into view with some liquid tequila in it. The line picks up.
Hello? Where have you been? Gosh, I feel like killing you. I've had that shot of tequila at my window. I think we should celebrate together now. So get your shot glass out and join me. Hello?
This is not Margarita. It's a stranger.
Hello? Who is this? Do you know Margaritaville? Do you know her well? There's been an accident. We're looking to contact her relatives and friends.
Accident? What kind of accident?
It's terrible, it's just terrible. She's been, well, something got in here, her office, a few nights ago. Someone, something, broke the damn door down. Sorry, the smell in here is awful. What's strange is how did it get in? The office door was locked and a sign outside said, "Do not disturb. Session in progress." Place is a mess. I think maybe it's what got that woman in the park a few weeks ago. Has to be an animal, a big one. I don't know, an escaped lion or wolf or something. These therapists with their soft hearts trying to help these nutters. It's terrible, it's just terrible.
As ChristiAna sits there, hanging on the line, more than likely in shock, but not in disbelief, let this be a warning to you. All those aspiring therapists out there, don't go outside your training. If someone thinks they can kill, they probably can. We all have the capabilities inside to release the inner animal, so take heed and never mess with a werewolf, or one who believes he is, especially on a full moon on Old Hallows Eve. Happy Hallow Weekend.